We're going to now move on to logical conditions. So the way to do this, you can think of it as a decision tree or branching, right? It's going to be, we're going to have if-then statements. We don't have an actual then clause explicitly spelled out in the if statement in Excel, but you get the idea. We'll use if statements. So I'm over on the worksheet labeled if, and we'll start with a very basic if statement up at the top. We're going to say each student gets a P, pass grade, if the score is 70 or above. Otherwise, they get a F for fail. Right? So to do this if statements, you just it's easy. Equal if, right? Open parenthesis, and then notice it's the logical test, the value if it's true, the value if it's false. So if I want to go into the dialog box, I can go up to the insert function here. The logical test, this has to evaluate to a true or false. Right? So here we want to say if this score, B6, is greater than or equal to 70, notice the nice thing about the dialog box here is when I type this in, it's telling me what the result is right here. It's saying that it's true, which is nice. The value, if it's a true, we said that was a P, otherwise F. Right? And notice when I type it into the dialog box here, it's putting the double quotes around that string or that text value for me. The result for this one happens to be P for passing because there's a 70 in it. Click OK, and we see that we can we get a pass. Right now, in theory, we can auto fill this down. If we do that, we lost our border at the bottom and we made extra borders. Right, so let's Control Z, Control C, select these, Control Alt V, and then I want just the formulas. So F, click OK. And so I get pass, pass, fail because it's a 55, pass, fail because it's a 60, pass. So it looks like it's doing what it wants to do. And if I click in one of these, it shows me the formula that we put in. So you can always go into the insert formula, get the function arguments dialog box to pop up. And you can always click on help on this function if you get stuck on something else. Right? So that's a basic if statement. Just it's either true or false. Now, many times that will suffice, but a lot of times it will also not be enough. We actually want a nested if statement. So nesting just means I can put a function inside of another function. So we can put if functions inside of the true or false clause of an outer if statement. So we can have multiple if statements inside. And actually, when I build some stuff for like my grade worksheets to calculate student grades or letter grades, assign letter grades, I have it nested quite deeply with different if statements. So let's see if we can do something similar here. Each student gets an A if the score is 90 or above. S for satisfactory if it's 70 or above, but less than 90, so between 70 and 89.999. Or, we only have whole numbers here. Or U for unsatisfactory if it's below a 70. So here we can start off with if this score over here, B19, is greater than or equal to 90, I want to return an A. And I put it in double quotes because it's a string. Right? So that's the first part here that we saw. If it's at 90 or above, the student gets an A. Comma, now this is the else clause. It's when it's false. So in this first one, I think it was going to be false. So what do we do if it's not above a 90? We have to do another check. So we do if B19 is greater than or equal to 70, then it will be S for satisfactory. Right? So it's not bigger than 90, so now we check to see if it's bigger than 70, meaning it's below 90, but is it above a 70? If it is, then satisfactory. If it's not, then we know we're not above a 70. It's something below it. So the only thing we have left to do now is just to say U for unsatisfactory. We close off the inner if statement with a parenthesis, another parenthesis, close off the outer if statements. Notice how they kind of try to change color. I have a black one right now, the one on the side was red. So if I hit this, it should say satisfactory, right? Because it's a 70. 70, anything between 70 and 89 is an S. So let's copy this guy, and we're going to paste special, Control-Alt-V, F for formulas, hit enter. This person got an A because they got above a 90. This person unsatisfactory, below a 70. Satisfactory because it's between a 70 and a 90. Unsatisfactory because it's a 60. And because we said 90 or equal to, greater than or equal to 90, this last person got an A. Right? And we see that the formula is coming down. Right? I did relative reference, so it's copying it properly. So that's a simple if statement, and then nesting an if statement inside of another if statement, in particular in the false clause, which is usually the way we do it. So that gives you a good introduction to if statements' logical conditions.